All right, guys. Adam Trigger here. It's Wednesday. Time for On the Clock, but no clock today. We've got a slightly different format. I've got to hit the road to meet everyone's favorite Wager Talk personality, Brian Power. We're going to hit the Cleveland State game tonight. And so that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to trade you the show for one of my client picks because I have a pick in this game. It's a 4% top rated play. So I'm going to give you one of my 4% plays for free. And if you feel so inclined, you can head over to wagertalk.com to get the other 4% play that I have as of right now. 2 plays. I would say there's maybe 1 or 2 more I have my eye on, but we've got 2 plays locked in that I really like for tonight. Very nice sweep yesterday for me with Utah State for 4% and UConn for 3% play that I gave out right on this show. As far as free stuff, the Wager Talk College Basketball Show, I gave Kentucky, which was a winner. Total of the day was a winner. The under gets there in Florida, Mississippi State. And the only free one we talked about today that fell short was Syracuse. Just a dreadful team, dreadful program. They've got to blow it up. They have to blow it up. They've got to fire Autry. They need a reboot. It's bad here in Central New York. I thought that would have been a game that was kind of set up for them to generate some false hope, but they couldn't even do that against a terrible Miami team. But all in all, a great day yesterday for us, and I hope to have another great day again today. Like I said, I've got 2 plays right now, both 4% plays. One of them is up at Wager Talk, and the other one is the Cleveland State Vikings. I laid 4. They are at home against Robert Morris, and that's the game we're going to talk about here. The whole show. I'm not even going to get the clock out. I'm going to go long on this one and talk about why I like Cleveland State, and I played it at -4 for a 4% play. Now, it's 4.5, it's 5. I would try to get 4.5. That's fine. I would still go 4% there. I think I could kind of see them winning this one by a similar margin they won the first meeting. So these 2 teams have played this year. Amazingly, Robert Morris has covered every game since the first meeting between these 2 teams. So Robert Morris has covered 9 straight games. 9-0 ATS run for Robert Morris. The last time they didn't cover was a home game against Cleveland State, where Cleveland State ended up pulling away and beating them by 12. And I just think it's going to be a very similar meeting because of the way Robert Morris plays and Cleveland State's ability to sort of answer that style of play. So let's go back to the beginning of the season. Like, no one expected these 2 teams to be like battling it out at the top of the horizon. I certainly didn't. I had Cleveland State and Robert Morris in my bottom 5 in this league. So I went back to the beginning of the season and said, okay, why did I have them rated so low? Robert Morris, I couldn't really come up with a reason that they're playing so good other than they're just beating teams in what is a bad horizon league this year. Your typical top teams are just not as good. The Youngstown States, the Milwaukees, even Northern Kentucky. Teams that typically dominate this league, Wright State is far worse than I think anyone expected them to be this year. So teams that typically do well in this league are down, and Robert Morris has benefited from that. They've cleaned up against the bottom half of this league, and they're winning close games. They're finding a way. They're 10-5 in league play. Cam Woods has been awesome, and they've been able to play really just mess games up. That's what Robert Morris does. They'll play fast. They'll make it sloppy. They turn the ball over a ton, but they'll force you into turnovers. They'll crash the glass, and it's been good enough to win games in this league. I don't think that style works against Cleveland State for a couple of reasons, and I'll backtrack for a second. The reason Cleveland State is so good is more explainable, okay? The reason I had them way down in this league this year, I didn't see how Cleveland State could replace the likes of Tristan Enaruna, Drew Lauder, Jason Woodrich, and the other one was, I think, Tay Williams. The guys that they lost, I didn't really see how Cleveland State could replace them, but they have, and the reason they've been able to do it is they hit an absolute home run in the portal with a guy that I absolutely loved when he was at Canisius and Todd Stavesky. And, Stavesky is a guy, so if you go back to last year, when I did preseason previews, Stavesky, I picked him for player of the year in the MAC with Canisius, and he played 2 games all year. He ended up getting hurt the second game of the year. and never ended up playing the rest of the season. It was an ankle injury that's kind of a foot injury that's nagged him pretty much his entire time at Canisius. And so Stevesky's a guy I had my eye on, but knowing that he's been sort of hobbled with injury his whole career, I didn't know if he could just come in to a new program and just take over, but that's exactly what he's done. And he looks healthy. He's been awesome. He's been the guy that I thought he would be for Canisius last year. And they really, Cleveland State just hit a home run in the portal to the point where, like, this league, the Horizon League, is not a good league. So you get one guy that can really just change things, and you can take a team from the bottom of the league, which Cleveland State wasn't a bottom team. They just lost a lot of their talent. But you get a guy like Stevesky, and he comes in, and he's been able to fill the void. And then you still have a Tevin Smith. And really, like, they've been one of the more talented, one of the better teams. Whether that's because the other teams are worse or not, forget it. Like, they're still they've clearly been the best team in this league. If you've watched Horizon League ball, I think you could say IPFW has a case. That maybe they're slightly higher from a power rating standpoint. But other than that, Cleveland State has been superior to the rest of this league. And I think they're vastly superior to Robert Morris, who's kind of the team that I think is a little bit of a fraud from, like, the other top, if you look at the top five in this league right now, like, IPFW belongs there. I still think they're probably the best. Youngstown State's down from what they've been, but they're still quality as it pertains to this league. Robert Morris is the team that I kind of think, like, doesn't belong. And the reason they're going to struggle in this matchup right here is their style of, let's go fast, let's really slop it up, and then let's just crash the glass and get rebounds, is not going to work against Cleveland State. Cleveland State, I already talked about Smith and Stevesky. They handle the ball. They can slow down a game, put you in a half court, and execute in the half court. Cleveland State plays a tempo outside the top 300. There's not going to be a ton of transition opportunities for Robert Morris. Cleveland State has done a decent job of handling the ball, so there's not going to be a ton of kind of turnover, run out type opportunities. And Cleveland State defensively is one of the better defensive teams in this league. So, you're going to have, like, theoretically, Robert Morris probably has an edge on the glass here, but I don't think it's big enough to get consistent points. So, Robert Morris has been able to win games by doing all of the above and then having Cam Woods go nuts. It just doesn't make sense for that to work in this matchup on the road. I think Cleveland State's done a phenomenal job of taking the air out of the ball in games this year, just sucking the life out of games. And then suddenly, like, you're down 10, and it's hard to come back against this team. So that's the other thing. It's hard. Once they get a lead, it's very difficult to come back against Cleveland State the way they play. Just a superior team. You only have to lay 4 with Cleveland State at home. I just think Robert Morris is a fraud. 9 straight covers for Robert Morris. There's no way it's going to be 10. So I laid the 4 with Cleveland State. That's a 4% client play. That's the show for today. If you want my other 4%er, please head over to WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AT. We also have a great 30-day special right now. So take advantage of the 30-day all-access special, which will put you in a conference tournament play. It's a great deal, less than $8 a day. Hope you guys cash all your tickets, and we'll see you back for a full show tomorrow morning right here on WagerTalk TV.